Well met, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to WCS Americas. I'm your host, Nathanius, joined on the desk by In Control as we move our way into the second half of today's broadcast. It's going to be back here for WCS Winter. It's cold outside, but we are fired up here, aren't we, In Control?
Oh my God, I see what you did there. You're such a pro. You're such a pro.
I say. That's.
We're fired up.
How are you? You ready?
I'm good.
Are you
good?
Are you prepared? Do you know what's happening?
No.
Okay.
Can you tell me what's happening?
Well, we've got a lot of StarCraft coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be moving through. Of course, this is WCS Winter. Everyone competed. There were a bunch of open qualifiers. It was super cool. 32 competitors in the group stage. 8 players go to the playoffs for a round robin, and then the top 6 qualify for the offline finals. That's right. It's a pretty sick, awesome thing that we've got, and it's so cool. It's like a next evolution step, it feels like, from like the Challenger system that we had last year.
Yeah.
There's so many more games, and yeah, some of your favorite players as well. I think 2 really popular players a lot of people are going to be looking forward to in today's group.
Eric and...
You're a big fan of Eric.
No, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't poke fun of him. Yeah, you're right. This is a group. MCanning, of course, a very popular streamer and a guy that makes appearances in these tournaments. He's got a fan base of people that kind of want to see. If he were to advance, I'd be very hyped.
Oh, yeah.
He's very good. There's no question about that. But the thing about StarCraft, what's really nice is that there's like this dividing factor. You can be very good, but then when you hit a player like SpeCial or some of these other guys, it's night and day.
You know what else is really nice though in Control? Money. Cash, money,
nice.
cash, money, cash. And these players are playing for a lot of it. We've got $12,000 for first place. Of course, WCS points, $60,000 Reno's total in Control.
It's a big deal.
That's a lot of moolah.
Yeah. I think the war chest went into this a little bit, right? Am I not mistaken?
I don't have...
I shouldn't say stuff like that because nobody knows for sure.
The
I'm like,
ninjas in the ceiling will pluck me out of the sky, so I can't answer that.
No, it did not, actually.
As we are going to kick this one off, our first series is SpeCial versus MCanning. So if you like Terran versus Protoss, well, you're in the right place, so good for you. Kairos Junction is going to be the map that we're going to start things off on. I think this, SpeCial's got tons of fans. It's going to be your best American Terran player that you're looking at. And then MCanning, the one, the only.
Jeez.
McCann fam.
That's a handsome picture of that guy right there.
Yeah. Devilishly handsome.
Jeez Louise. Need to take a minute here.
Yeah. Took everything in our power not to seed him into the finals, actually.
Yeah. So kind of funny thing about this series, MCanning, I guess, is pseudo on record. And by on record, I mean he told Ravi as saying he's not really preparing for versus SpeCial at all. And I don't mean to say that as like a cooler. It's kind of a fun group math type thing. SpeCial is kind of the euthermal of the Americas scene,
yeah.
or even almost to some level more than a euthermal, right? We've seen SpeCial at a few BlizzCons now. Yep. He is the kind of player that competes and emulates those Korean players. He's something... he's great. I was going to say SpeCial. I don't want to do that. Because somewhere out there, Ravi only grows in power, and we can't use these puns.
No, you can't.
MCanning, very good player, plays on Korea. You know, he's a perennial GM player, very good, lots of personality. Yeah. But this is, I don't want to call it a mismatch because MCanning's clever and good enough to do something, but it's just not likely. SpeCial is something else.
SpeCial is an extremely good player. I'm interested to see if MCanning breaks out any special builds here for this series. Oh, you're right. It's so hard not to fall into that.
Why don't we just call him Princess like he called himself a while ago?
Yeah, we could do that. That's sure.
Hey, we're in.
We are loaded in.
Hey, what is that Nexus?
I don't know. I thought this was a command center.
Whoa!
In the bottom right, we have our blue Protoss player representing Flipside and the Can fam. He is MCanning.
I got 500 and I can do it. Something like that. I don't know.
And his opponent in the northwest, spawning as the red Terran player. Hailing from Mexico, he is SpeCial.
With no skin, notably. Yeah. Guy's won over $250,000. He's done well for himself.
Yeah, smooth $250,000. Too cool for skins. What can we say?
Gonna be fun. The last year, SpeCial. Gosh, I always doubt myself when I get really specific, but he was at BlizzCon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a great year for him. Could do it again.
He's classically like the best performing non-Korean Terran player. Mostly
tell you
because
what, though,
he tries to be Korean about
yes,
as much as possible.
Absolutely. He also dominates the Mexican region, which I think would almost sound like I'm making a joke to some people, I suppose, but I'm not. They have some really good players there. Cham had a big year in 2017. and still is a very good player. Kellezer, of course, from Brazil, travels around a lot. But then also, there's a commentator. And a lot of people don't give him the credit he deserves, but he is becoming one of the most fierce competitors in the non-flying world, and that is Jim Rising. This is the guy that torments the online ladder.
Oh, yeah. He's really good.
He's so good.
Player.
Makes a lot of lings.
A lot of roaches and ravagers if you're Terran.
Yeah, they fly around.
Oh, yeah. Brings the aggression.
He does.
These are the pretty cool ones. So these are the forged Protoss skins. If you're a Tal'Darim bro, not everybody's on that Dalam train in Control, you know what I'm saying?
Really?
No.
I'm on there. I think they're great.
Okay, that's fair.
They look dark. But I do like the, what is it, the Purifier skins as well?
Yeah, those ones are really cool. Those ones, a lot of the ones are kind of based off, of course, always something related to the lore, and there's already a lot of cool stuff that you can see in like co-op and whatnot from what a lot of the races have to offer. When I can get Purifier Protoss skins on ladder, oof, that's gonna be
cool.
It's gonna be really cool.
Reaper shows up, sees pretty typical stuff, but it is going to have a little bit of time with that mineral line here. If you can get a probe killer too, that'd be fantastic. But so far, Special is not going to commit too deep in there. A lot of Terrans would be hungry to chase in, but he's just going to go get that information, do a little bit of damage, and hopefully pop out of here. And he does.
Yep, manages to survive. MCanning going to drop a pylon on the west side.
Now, I'm going to say this now because we are... No, I'm going to wait. Never mind. MCanning was talking about a strategy that he was going to do against Special, but I'm not going to say it because maybe he wants to do it in the other games.
Perhaps a meme build.
Let's see if he does it here. Okay. I'll say it if he builds it. I think. Yeah. Okay.
Dun dun dun.
He was going to do a blink DT rush.
Sick.
So.
Control. Should we give credit to the man who
God!
knows
It just
everything?
got spotted. Nate, you just missed it.
Oh my goodness, I saw it. Well, that's just.
Never mind.
That does he build the Dark Shrine again in his base?
No, just blink. It's fine. Blink's good too. 100 for that, and it upgrades faster.
Yep.
Blizzard, I don't know why you like. As a pros player, I'm like is that good? Did you just give us good? And they're like, yeah, we did. What if they just take it away later though? And that's the whole thing. Anyways,
that's MCanning giveth, MCanning taketh away.
This is so frustrating, by the way. When you're facing someone way better than you and they get perfect scouting over and over again, it gets way deep in your head. Because when you're facing someone like Special, you are going for that Dark Shrine. You are going for 5-gate Blink Stalk or something like that. You want to catch them off guard. But when they keep scouting it, you begin to feel kind of hopeless. I've been there before.
Not being able to get away with anything. Special, following this up, just getting some wing extra tanks. He didn't start his stim. Okay, he's going Combat Shield first. Interesting choice by Special. He's going to build tanks, go Combat Shield off 2 racks with Marines and Marauders. Doesn't really give you a lot of mobility or any real way to move out of your base, but he also hasn't gotten a starport in Control. This is highly is this just like a Combat Shield Marine tank SCV pole type build? I can't think of anything else you would do with this.
I mean, that's an engineering bay, which comes at a pretty weird time, right?
Yeah,
you do that for like
you just gonna start +1 and then pull everything? That doesn't make sense. Or do you think there's still DTs?
Just defensive. I think this is a defensive 3 base. We just haven't seen the 3rd orbital yet.
Yeah,
that's what I would guess.
That's I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. He didn't take gas on the natural either, which makes me feel like it has to be an SCV pool with Combat Shield. But now he's starting an extra barracks and starting the extra gas. He's just not prioritizing stim at all. Which is weird because it's the most important upgrade generally that you get. So he's got to move out with this, right? Okay.
You were right about the SV push. So I guess it's Combat Shield because you don't necessarily care about getting the damage in. It's more about just starting the blockade. Like, this is something a lot of Terrans are doing. They just build the 3 or 4 bunkers and a couple missile turrets. Man, if you're a Terran player and you're watching this, by the way, knock it off. This is so obnoxious to play against. Holy Toledo. Because guess what doesn't help you here? Blink. Couldn't care less.
Gonna be forced to fight.
Once these tanks siege, go ahead and blink all you want, Bray.
Yep, nothing is going to work there. MCanning does have a couple of shield batteries on the way, but the Stalkers are taking a beating.
This is over.
Yeah, 3 tanks. Now the bunker's on the way. The Marines and Marauders.
Oh, it's a wall, too.
Yeah.
This is Immortal
completely blocked in, and that wall means pulling probes isn't going to help either. You can't Depth Shade onto the tanks either.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a Megalodon.
The Megalodon is going to close its jaws around MCanning's natural. The Immortal does focus fire on the other tank, and then dies to the other one. The bunkers are still going to finish up, and then once the bunkers are done, the Marauders should be in range of the Nexus. And I think there's not really a whole lot else for the can man to do here.
No, so we're tap out.
He's stuck.
Well played, sir.
He's stuck. MCanning did get a disruptor out, his spirit animal, but I'm not sure that one disruptor is enough to save the world.
No, especially if you're not using it very actively. Is it on cooldown? Has he already shot?
Nope, hasn't shot yet.
And it just doesn't make sense.
Well, he's not going to throw you.
That's a goblin disruptor right there. It's like waiting till 10 minutes from now when it's even more useless.
It's like, well, if I break down the bunker, then he...
Oh, you're exactly right. That's what he's trying to do, but he can't even.
Yeah, he focuses down with the tanks, by the way. GG. SpeCial takes game number 1 against MCanning.
I
Ouch.
tweeted asked the question to my Twitter a couple days ago. I said, what's some of the best gamer tags you've ever seen? And I got some amazing responses. Too many to obviously talk about right now, but one of my favorite ones was someone's gamer tag name was Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne. Which is just a dumb singular line from a movie, but they made it into a gamer tag, and it's just, I don't know, it's good.
That's good.
Very funny.
I like it.
And that was more interesting than that game right there. Unfortunately, MCanning,
Yeah.
he just walked across the map. This timing, by the way, it's kind of funny how, and I want to hear your thoughts on this because it's not necessarily true to the word, but I feel like Protoss are one of the first victims of meta shifts. Like anytime something is different in the meta, be it a Zerg play or Terran play or even other Protoss plays, it's always Protoss that are like, they just lose for a little while, and then they have to adapt their play to this.
Yep.
It feels like that's the case.
I think Terran players feel a lot of pressure with some of the changes, especially for that early mid game and then the late game ramp up of Protoss, because we've been seeing this for forever now with the usually the proxy, and then if you don't proxy, it's just a 2-base all in, or even if you do proxy, if you get any damage done, it turns into like a 2-base all in.
Yeah.
TvP revolves very heavily around these big attacks going into your enemy, and also just going to let all of you know that WCS Game Heart mod that we use for the tournaments makes it so that the players can show you the skins that they are using. They do not see them in game, so for any questions of competitive integrity, SpeCial was seeing a normal Nexus in his game. He was not confused like I was. He did not think it was a command center.
That's awesome.
So
I love the chat, by the way, guys. Every time SpeCial's playing, everyone's spamming. They say spam this Dorito to help out Juanito.
Yeah, it's best.
I'm
seeing a lot of cans.
It's so
chat
cool.
As well.
Yeah.
A lot of can fam representing out here.
Yeah. Thank you guys all for joining us. It's really lovely to have such a large audience for this kind of a broadcast. There's a lot to come too. It's gonna be really fun. We're actually live. I don't think we said this. It's the next 4 days. Well, 3 days after this. I mean, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are all broadcast days. And is that the entire round of 32? That's correct, right?
I have no idea.
I think it is.
I just did
It's half of the round of 32. That's right, because that's 2 groups of each. Never mind. I'm just going to stop.
It's all good.
I want to create the illusion you guys think I'm somewhat intelligent, so I'm just like, that's 3 out of the 17.
All you need
triangulation
to know is there's a lot. There's a lot of WCS Winter.
Lot of StarCraft.
We're going to be back tomorrow and the next day. And the next day, not the next day. We're going to take a couple days off. Then we'll be back. And, yeah, it's basically like 4 days on, 3 days off, 4 days off is kind of...
Wow. It's a lot. With a little bit of Katowice somewhere in the middle, too.
Yeah. Well, we end, I think, just a few days before all of that ramps up, so... And then we come back in March as we load our way on in to our second map on Port Alexander. In the bottom right, the man sending out an SCB to proxy. He is SpeCial.
Or El SpeCial.
Yes.
Juan Carlos Tena Lopez. I like him. You can see him in the memes and dreams stuff that No Regret puts on over in Korea. He's just a good, personable guy.
Also, in the top left, we have in the blue, representing the hybrid Tal'Darim Purifier Protoss, he is MCanning.
Bit of a bop that game one.
Yeah.
Bit of a bop.
Sour boot that one.
And it's a really wholly unsatisfying one too, because like I said, goes for proxy Dark Shrine, scouted immediately. Like the Reaper literally leaves the base, goes right there, spots it, and then comes back and spots the transition, which is Blink Stalker. So a lot of you might be asking yourselves, was SpeCial's timing attack in response to all of that scouting, kind of seeing MCanning try to pivot into different techs? I think it might not have necessarily been purely in response, but I feel like it's something he can do and started to do. So you could kind of hear Nate breaking it down. He's like, what is this? Combat shield and no starport? I don't think it was a design from the moment one type of opening, but it was one that he evolved into because of what he was scouting.
Yep, MCanning always bringing out the GLHF spray, by the way. That spray metagame, very important to follow as well.
I've never done a spray in a game.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not? You can get in people's heads with it.
It's too much like a cat marking its territory or something like that. And walks away. It's just weird to me.
In war, wouldn't you want to do that? I don't know. Maybe.
I would not spend any time in war spraying anything. There's no scenario where you cut to me over on a wall writing,
Jeff's just tagging the enemies.
"Fear the Reaper, man." And then I just get shot. And what did Jeff? How did you go down? Well,
Jeff, you'd have the best spray because it would be of a Dark Templar, so it'd be invisible anyway.
that's true.
And then all the workers just die. The factory being built at home, very standard for these sorts of proxy shenanigans. And then the Reaper is just going to go straight out, try to pick up some cheeky probe kills. Gets to number 2 there. The Zealot doing everything that it can to push back and just kind of stall, make it a little bit harder for the Reaper to kill these probes.
Yep.
As that Adept is on the way.
It's only 2 probes, and it's really not the end of the world. But I'll tell you what, even that, like any probe kills at all from the Reaper, it hurts. It hurts quite a bit, especially after game 1. And MCanning, I'm a big patron, a big fan of his channel. I watch him quite a bit. I feel like he handles stress really, really well. But then when you see him in competition, you can feel the escalation, which I enjoy. I wouldn't even necessarily say he doesn't handle it well. I'm just saying it's fun to see a guy who's loose and casual on his stream go into competition, and you can see the adrenaline. So hopefully he can dial that in and not let it get him too out of control.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the defining things about MCanning is he's always cool. He's always chill, cool under fire.
Yeah.
He's going to go into the robotics facility to follow up this strategy. We do have a starport being built this game. The very standard Cyclone follow-up. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go into tanks after this. Going to build another Cyclone. Okay. I mean, those 2-base tank pushes are extremely popular for a reason. They're very, very strong.
Yeah.
Surprised he's not going straight into tanks.
Robotics bay here.
Guess he wants to put on more pressure using the Reapers and the Cyclone. Reapers to kind of body block a little bit and provide vision, and then the Cyclone to actually kill stuff. Locks on to the Stalker manually with that as well. Uses the grenades to push everything else back. I think he goes a little bit deep there with that Cyclone.
He does, but it looks like he might actually be able to get his way out of there. Probes would have had to have pulled to try and trap it.
Yeah.
Gets another lock in.
Oh, and the Reapers are just going to run on by into that main base. Both of them still alive here.
Oh, you know what? This might be his Colossus drop build that he's been doing. It's pretty cool. He's very good with it. But one of the kind of sad things here is it once again gets spotted fairly early on. He sees the robotics base. I think he's.
Oh, he's going to disruptor drop.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I like it.
Also something he does quite a bit.
Yeah, watching MCanning do this is actually something of a treat. He's quite good with it.
I like it too because if you do that push style, this is actually one of the better answers because you can actually get a couple of shots off as it's coming across the map. And then, of course, once it does siege up, a few disruptors would be the way to break that. It happens a lot earlier than you would have Colossus with range.
Well, this will be interesting to see how well he can make this work. It's just a single disruptor. He's getting gravitic drive, which is going to allow that warp prism to zoom across the map at a very high speed. And it's a great way to chunk away, especially because once again in control, it's combat shields is the follow-up. He's not getting stim, so it's going to be another similar attack.
Yeah.
And microing away from this without combat shield, or excuse me, without stim, is extremely tough.
Oh, yeah.
And if he fires the shot off fast enough, he might eat 1 tank shot and still get the volley off without losing the disruptor. Yeah, gets 6 SCVs for his trouble.
Not bad at all. And to your point, he once again sees no gas in the natural, sees a tank hitting at the natural as well. Might start to tip him off. I would even say, is the engineering bay, by the way, was that at the natural as well? Just because he just kind of keeps doing that? No.
He didn't even build an eBay this game.
But here we go. Same push.
Uh-oh. Liberators come in. Focuses down a probe. It's one of the stalkers. And
only a probe, though, and 1 stalker.
Just a probe and a stalker. Now, where's the disruptor prism is what we're going to see. He's going to go back over towards the main base with that. Feel like he kind of want to try to catch the army here. I don't know.
I don't think he knows. I mean, he knows now, probably. So you might as well get 1 shot off.
I was going to say, I don't think killing SCVs is actually the big play here. 8 SCVs is pretty nice, but the army's still there. And 1 Colossus without upgrades is... So it won't do a lot of damage to Colossi.
Good shield battery there. Tank's in position, though. To your point, I think the disruptor back at home would have been quite nice.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, he's going to get range, but it's just the 1 Colossus, now more disruptors coming out. So a little bit of kind of silly spinning there as well, right? Like,
and range isn't done yet on that Colossus, so disruptor shot goes, hits 1 unit. Prism is here from the behind, gets a nice big shot off actually on a lot of those forces.
But both disruptors, well, he actually picks up one, and the other's just kind of floating around.
Stalkers are getting hits off on the tank, and he's going to clean that up. The bunker still building, but the Marines have mostly been pushed back. Another siege tank is going to show up here.
It's so low, you cannot use it. Yeah, okay.
MCanning is insane. He's going to throw another disruptor shot out, gets a nice hit off on the tank and the rest of those units, and I think he might seem to, I mean, I feel like he could juggle the Stalkers over here too as well.
Yeah.
He's just going to chill for now. This one SCV stranded.
Not bad. Not bad defense.
No, that's pretty good hold by MCanning. I mean, you were talking about it. Like, it's really, you can use this to help defend that push pretty nicely because there's no stim, so you can't really run away from the disruptor shot. It moves a lot faster than just slow Marines. And of course, you still have the potential to put on pressure because you have the warp prism with speed.
Important to note too, no economic harm came to MCanning. That's one of the things that push has done in the past is like you pull probes or a tank line is hitting some of those minerals, and all of a sudden you lose some SCV or some probes, excuse me. But instead, MCanning actually quite healthy there, moves out and takes his third, and his tech is developed now, right? Like he's adding some forge upgrades, got the Twilight Council finishing up, and he's got his disruptors and his speed warp prism. So MCanning in a pretty good spot, all things considered.
Yeah, and you know that first game was a bit rough for him, but just so you guys know, MCanning, I think he lives in like East Coast U.S., and he is a Grandmaster League player on the Korean StarCraft server. He is a very good Protoss player, so he has the potential, he has the skill to make this happen, even though SpeCial would be a player that you would generally consider favored against him. So really good control that he showed there. If he can keep up that pace, if he can defend against these attacks, the potential is very real for MCanning to have a solid shot in this series, especially if he can keep making plays like that. The Phoenix goes for the scouts. He's the third command center, very late. Sees the tank. Of course, MCanning's third was pretty late too, all things considered. But
he's got to like what he sees, though. When you do a timing attack like that, you do halt SCV production a little bit, so they're fairly similar there. But then also things like upgrades, like Stim's just now finishing Nate for Pete's sake. So I just think that SpeCial is in a pretty precarious spot. He's only down a little bit supply, but I think when a Terran's down in supply at this stage of a game in a TvP, it's already kind of bad. Oh my god. Wow, that was only 3. It could have been, looked like it could have been worse.
Potential is real. But he's doing a great job kind of boxing him in. This medevac has just been chilling here for a good while outside the third, just waiting for the right opportunity to strike as MCanning litters units around the map to try and spot. Let's see if you can see these two medevacs that are coming in. Looks like you're going to go just around all of the units
that
he does have looking. You
course
put these
they
units to spot, none of them
thread the needle.
Oh my god, and his army's moving out. Well, this could be risky. He's going to need to recall to deal with this.
No recall in the main.
Yeah, he doesn't have energy. Oh, goodness. Oh, there's the double drop.
And there's the Twilight Council exposed as well.
What's he going to do? Army is still moving out. Marines are coming in there. Of course, that drop does hit the third base at the exact same time. Really good lineup here by SpeCial. Denies charge. And now going straight into the heart of MCanning's main base mineral line. MCanning's just going to try to push back across the map. Maybe try to kill one of the bases and then recall.
But this is where the tanks are so strong. Go ahead. I'll lift it up. You delayed me.
And the Zealots can't help because they don't have charge.
No, he could lose the third Nexus if he's not careful. I think he recalls the third Nexus. But inside the main, he's getting absolutely ravaged, I thought. Did he get cleaned up somehow? Okay.
He brought some of the extra units that he made back in over here. He does have Blink, so oof, gets the full medevac. Not bad. More probes still dying, by the way, in the natural. He's got the Dark Shrine coming in, and gets that medevac. Yeah, 37 probes to 60 SCVs, and the Terran has landed the third command center again.
And the tank count, I believe, did not get touched, so he's adding more tanks and using that to kind of anchor him.
3 siege tanks.
Yeah.
He's got the Dark Shrine, so we could try to see him maybe throw a deep ball here off back of some Dark Templar, but you know, that's quite a prayer you're asking for there. If he scans himself, I don't know.
Yeah, and SpeCial plays a significant amount of games on the North American server, so this guy makes missile turrets for sure.
Yeah.
He understands.
Missile turrets are the lifeblood of North American Terrans.
Has to be. But MCanning's going to push out, and this might at first glance look a little bit silly, because it's like then you just get hurt for pushing out, but you kind of have to as a Protoss. If you just sit back and take it, the Terran takes an unimpeded third and then a fourth, and their upgrades start kicking in, the medevac count gets really high, you'll just get picked apart, especially against a player like SpeCial. He's very rarely going to load up his whole army and go to one spot. More often than not, it's what we just saw, which is 2 medevacs there, 2 medevacs here, something else somewhere else. He's always been a harassed player.
Yep, and that's one of the things that makes him so good. It's so hard to deal with that. We do have a Dark Templar being warped in, it looks like, on the north side that's going to go in while MCanning tries to poke this base. DT's going to run straight into the main, it looks like.
Yeah. And there's actually no detection of the natural.
Well, the Warp Prism just flow. What? Oh,
Yeah,
wow, that's.
Let's just forget it. That even happened.
Yeah, that never happened. Well, the DT
We are gonna have to edit that
main,
as post.
DT in the main. The
Yeah.
SCV's been pulled away. DT in the natural. A lot of SCVs are actually over here. Colossi trying to get some good shots off. Need to be careful though. As soon as that bio can collapse on you, you're super dead.
DT's doing some work, but only 7 SCVs dying. They actually even at some point target down the orbital itself if you really want to.
He got a lot of damage done to it.
Not that you would kill it, but you kind of force him to lift it. And it's like one less building with a scan. Is what.
Yeah. Oof.
Oh my
Is he gonna
God.
make it out? Ooh.
Wow.
Sneaky boy. All right, well, there is another double drop that's going towards the main base. MCanning is bringing the fan back. He might be able to smite this with the disruptor.
Did you say the spam?
Stalkers. Yeah.
All right, yeah, if he picks off the medevacs and kills this pretty clean as a boss.
Oh my goodness! Well, that couldn't have gone any worse. I guess he could have.
It could have gone worse. He loses that medevac too.
Yeah, that was pretty bad though. Great catch by MCanning.
Yeah.
Still got this base going. Not crazy about the gas. I think a 4th base for Protoss here is pretty big, but this one DT actually still alive, so the potential for him to come back and be a pain in his side is very real.
Look at the mining. Main and natural really low. 3rd, a little bit oversaturated. Our boy's special only on 50 SCVs, which is not the lowest of lows. Well, that's kind of cool. I don't think I've even seen that arc.
Yeah, those are the Purifier Archons.
That's pretty cool.
Which is weird to think about an AI that's just a giant ball of energy.
Yeah.
That was one of the harder ones to wrap my brain around.
Well, it's the distant future. Things are different.
That's true. I guess if we live in a world where Archons can be real, then fake Archons can also be real.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so that's a pretty big load up. And he's going to do it off the fact that there's 3 tanks here, but only the 3 tanks, which is...
Yeah. I feel like he still want to try to get charge back. He did rebuild the Twilight Council.
Okay.
Zealots to help break the tank line.
Tell you what, 3 medevacs full of stuff, finding a unfinished 4th base is as good as it gets for a Protoss, by the way.
Yeah.
If that shows up at your 3rd and climps down on your biggest mining base, it's huge trouble. But killing that base, sure, I'll just do it later. No big deal.
Well, these Marauders randomly find themselves a nice little kill there on the Disruptor as the main army moves its way down south. And these guys are actually going to get rid of this pylon. Could kill the shield battery. Shield's going to come in, but without charge, it's not a very potent force as these medevacs load up.
He might just think he has charge. It's actually sometimes kind of hard to notice. Let's control those zealots right there. Let's see if he queues it up.
I think you see those. Come on.
No.
Get charged. So good.
He might even be looking for his Twilight, because that's kind of a weird spot for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That happens. This all sounds like I'm being silly, but it's not.
No, it's not at all. I do like the DT usage, though, in a weird game where the economy's kind of been hurt a lot on both players' sides. Look at this, though. Double drop in the top side going towards the main while the big army pushes down the middle. It's going to be really important for some good control here out of MCanning to deal with all of this. Those 2 medevacs coming in. Did he change his mind? It looks like there are a few units ready for it.
2 stalkers.
Yeah, the DT is there, too.
Oh, yeah. The army of special, though. Where are we going with this? He's building Vikings. Okay. So he's going
We have
for
ghosts on
classic.
the way, too,
Yeah.
now. So.
Ghosts, even just a couple, by the way. It doesn't have to be that many.
He's doing the DT Archon composition.
I don't think he has a Templar Archive.
Nope. And there's the disruptor shot goes in. Big shot off on those
God.
Marauders for special. And MCanning continues to push his way forward. Of course, these are a lot of Vikings that are going to deal with the Colossi, but getting through the tanks means the Stalkers find more purchase as well. I'm really interested to see how he deals with any more bio that comes after this. The Disruptors really need to be on point. The Warp Prism is going to be the next target, but he is on top of this 3rd base. Big Disruptor gets another 2 Marines.
I just don't think he's mining elsewhere very good. Nate, he's down to 25 or so SCVs. This base was the lifeblood of special, and MCanning's done it. He broke the back there a little bit. That force right there is fair. Oh my God! I was gonna say it's sizable, but it's just not anymore.
MCanning's putting 5 on it right there.
He is putting, yes.
5 Disruptors on it. Oh, this DT gives up the ghost.
And the thing is, MCanning got away with some pretty sick harass. That natural and main, I don't think it was even like some horrendous amount of SCV kills, but it was pulling the SCVs and a handful of kills while harassing the 3rd that slowed special down enough. And then you pointed this out earlier, but a couple of medevac drops get picked up, and all of a sudden, that supply lead that special had just kind of bleeds away.
And Special's supply is medevacs. So he's got 9 medevacs and 5 Vikings. Not really a lot of bio. I think the biggest thing working in Special's favor is that MCanning somehow still doesn't have charge. I gotta say,
He's
never
doing it
restarted.
chargeless.
Yeah.
You know what? He was inspired by Alpha Star.
MCanning walks into WCS Winter, and the commentators say to him, "For you, no charge." There you go.
Oh, jeez.
Boom.
He tried, though.
That's true. He did. He did.
He
got-
tried.
he
It's
got
not
the
like
knife.
he's just straight up decided not to upgrade charge. He did give it a shot.
This army is so big, though. I don't see
No,
maybe-
no.
Unless he were to disruptor shot himself. But no, there's the super aggressive blink. He's like, all right, I'm just gonna kill your command center. Cut off the flank with the disruptor shots. Really good control out of MCanning so far. Doesn't actually get the command center, so I'll say good save. But
Yeah.
at 15 SCVs,
He's getting doubled in supply.
yeah, MCanning's got a big boy armed right here. That disruptor gets picked off. And this Archon's pretty low, so SpeCial gets a couple of nice things here so far.
Yeah.
Be nice if his zealots could join the fight.
There's so many disruptors. Like dodging all of them. No. And I would say SpeCial's got some room to improve on dodging disruptor shots there. A couple of these like running into them. Not that it's the easiest thing in the world, by the way. It's actually quite difficult. But
The zealot
and
count.
MCanning's actually like one of the best disruptor players.
He's got so many zealots. Okay, there's the GG. MCanning ties the series up one apiece. I'm sweating bullets over
Every
here.
series I do has gone to game 3.
I'm sweating bullets looking at all those slow zealots moving around at the end of the game, but MCanning does close it out, brings it back after the big drop.
Yeah.
And really, I think we could say that MCanning did a good job taking control early on with the speed prism, right? And the disruptor shuts down that tank contain that we've seen so many times in Terran versus Protoss. Really good use of the tools that he has as a Protoss player, because I think I think we both agreed that that particular type of build is very good against that slow push out like that from a Terran.
It's funny too, and I try not to, because you have to kind of get in the head of the player, but it's worth mentioning, I suppose. A little bit disappointed that SpeCial went with the same strategy twice. Very close to it anyways. This one had a starport, and he added like a liberator to it, but otherwise it's the same thing. I think there's a certain degree of him saying, I'm better than MCanning, so just do the kind of auto build that is in the meta right now, and I'll just win. But MCanning, tip of the hat to him, because like you were just saying, the proper response is a disruptor something, right? Like it just does so much to the early units. And you had mentioned this during the game, but without stim, you're not getting away from those disruptor shots. It was brutal. The fight was kind of close, but because of the massive disruptor shots, it turned into a favorable fight for MCanning. So, love the reaction from him. I would hate it if SpeCial did the same build, the same timing attack in the third.
Yeah.
I think that's a chance he could have to actually give the series away to MCanning. It's like, man, just play it, just open normal. You don't need to do what TY is doing against stats right now. Like, just do what SpeCial would do against MCanning.
I'd like to see him do a TY build though. I got to.
Well, everything he does is TY build.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I saw TY do some Thor builds actually.
Yeah. Did you see you Thermal do some Thor builds earlier?
Yeah. I'm
You
just
like that?
you know
You
I've
liked it?
seen TY do it against top GM tosses.
Yeah.
Something I want to see more of it. I like the Thor a lot this patch actually.
I liked the Thor. I felt like it had a funny tipping point. Like 3 or 4 of them is really cool. The second he had like 7, and he was like, I'm going to put him in the front.
The hard part with using the Thors in TvP in those army comps is, even though they are so good against the Tempest in that situation, like the one you Thermal was in, if you have them right-click on the Immortals first, they melt those as well, and then nothing really kills them that fast. But yeah, that's always the hardest part about them, is if they're shooting at the wrong unit.
Yeah, there's a few units in StarCraft like that, right? Like in the proper situation, they're incredible, but if you just kind of A-move them in general, you get pretty terrible.
I find that the 11 range on the Thor's single target is actually pretty sick at zoning. Weirdly good. Anyway, we are loaded in to our third and final map of our first series of WCS Winter here in our Group A of Americas. We've got ourselves a nice match going on in Control. Why don't you tell everybody who the player in the top is? Sorry, I switched that on you, production. Special.
Coming out of Guadalajara, Mexico, it is the Red Terran SpeCial.
He's proxying again, by the way.
Of course.
As is tradition.
In the bottom left-hand side, coming out of somewhere in the eastern or mid-eastern part of the country, that is the United States, it is MCanning. 24 years young.
It's kind of like a fake proxy this game. SpeCial's gonna basically wants the probe to go in and be like, oh, you're proxying me, so I don't fast expand, and that way the Terran player can kind of get a little bit further ahead on the economy, even things out.
Well, especially since he has gotten some probe kills with his.
Yeah, you're right.
So, you know, MCanning's going to be on alert. He's going to be kind of freaking out about it.
You won't just be worried about it. He's going to be like, okay, it's going to be big. Always making sure to get that spray. You don't like this spraying control? The Colossus typing GLHF with its lasers? Come on,
not even that I dislike it. I just not about that. I'm too old.
Okay.
Just give me your ladder points, you know, or I'll give you mine. That's what I do. It's just an exchange of ladder points.
It's a simple deal I've come to make with you. It's not a game of charity or pleasure. It's a game of ladder points.
2 people enter. 1 person leaves with ladder points. The other one leaves with less. That's the way I do it.
Now I imagine that these StarCraft players, like, queuing up 1v1, you just show up with a bag that's like all your MMR. It's like, if you're like, I'm 5, come on, I have 5,000 marbles. Like, you get 25 for beating me.
There you go, young man.
Suddenly the game seems a lot more interesting.
I always like the gut shot, though, when someone plays out of their mind, and you're like, wow, that guy was really good. And you check, and they're actually like 7 points less than you, and you lose 64 points. You're like, well, that was my day of laddering.
Those are the games.
Took my whole day from me.
Those are the games. Man, that was so hard. Can't believe I won that one. Guys, like 5K. You're like, you gained 5 MMR.
People are better on the ladder. It's nice. It happened a while ago, so I don't notice it as much. But I remember, I want to say like a year ago, it was just like the average game was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go further back, like a lot of the lower level, you know, still had high ladder ratings, but they were bad. I mean, we're all bad. Anyways, I digress. So it is that fake proxy. He's going to float it back in, and I think the probe actually even saw that, maybe, or came darn close to it.
I think he kind of saw it, yeah. He was very close inside.
Can't see it when it's floating, Nate.
Yeah, doesn't save that. It doesn't save that bit of vision.
Doesn't count. I wonder if that messes with Alpha Storm. Did you
Yeah.
hear some of the stuff we were talking about with that? It's interesting, right? Like,
Yeah.
the computer wouldn't stop lifting its buildings because it somehow got locked into its brain that ultimately you're winning if your buildings are floating.
That's a good one. I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I almost talked your ear off about some nerdy stuff while we were in the back during the break. So.
That's true.
I'm sure you're very well aware, I spent a lot of time talking to those guys when I had the chance. It's all
Yeah.
super cool.
It's very interesting. And is that a tech lab on the starport? I believe
Yes,
it is.
it is.
Should be a cloaked banshee.
You don't
I love
think it's
the
a battle
Raven.
cruiser rush?
No. I would love the Raven because I think not enough Terrans do that. The Raven does so much, by the way. It's just
Ravens are super good. With the comboed with a Cyclone, it's very easy to pick off the observers.
yeah.
It was
Well,
a lot
that's just
harder.
one
on
of the
old
many
patch,
things
too.
it does, though. Like the shutdown matrix. You can harass.
Yeah, interference matrix against the Warp Prism, especially if the Can Man goes for disruptors again. Which, by the way, it looks like he's going to go for disruptors again.
Oh yeah, shut it down. And I bet he no, he's going Banshee. The other one too is like the Dorito cannon's fallen from favor, hasn't it? They like slightly nerf it, and all turns like it's
Yeah.
dead to me.
Well, you
I'll
know-
never use it.
It's weird because the Dorito cannon is also really easy to dodge because they never undid the part where it triggers really slowly, which they added because it killed everything instantly. So they're like, all right, we'll make it take 3 seconds to shoot. But now they're like, it doesn't do damage and it takes 3 seconds to shoot. And people are like, it's really easy to dodge. And yeah, auto turrets are better, I think, these days. Interference matrix is huge in TvT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also big in TvP. I'll tell you, there's nothing more
Yeah,
frontaling than you go Colossus, like all these guys are so far. 2 Ravens show up, shut down all your Colossus. Now you have a bunch of Stalkers and Sentries. GG.
Yeah. Interference matrix is probably my favorite thing that they've added outside of the battle cruiser change in a long time. Interference matrix is awesome.
So it is a Colossus after that. You'll notice it's not getting range. I actually still think it might. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's
gonna
Colossus drop.
Colossus drop.
Do you like this more or less than the Disruptor drop? You can say, at least for this game. If you
I like it for everyone else more. For him, Disruptors are so darn good that I actually might think that he is better with a Disruptor. His Disruptor play is phenomenal. It really is.
Okay.
He's known for it. He'll tell you about it too. But I have to admit, you know, game recognizes game. And here's the other thing too. You'd rather have it right now. Like this Colossus across the map's gonna do some damage, but there's literally nothing back here, right?
Yeah.
Look at the front of the proto space.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
This is like,
It's nothing.
this is municipal police responding to Godzilla.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very good.
Oh my god.
Colossus
Special.
gets some good hits.
Special does, he just doesn't face some of this stuff. Like that is just massive. Holy cow. But he's also
What do you do
phenomenal.
again? What can he do here? He's trying to get out another Colossus, but it's gonna take some time.
No. Yeah, I mean yes, but the next will be dead. You have to either recall that or bring it back. Kind of unfortunate. I feel like this is gonna be super anticlimactic. The other game was so cool.
Yeah. He's trying to shade the Adepts onto the Marines, force the friendly fire while he gets the Colossus drop in from behind.
And
Which could actually work
lockdown.
a little bit, because the tanks can't hit the Colossus there.
Interesting he locked down the War Prism. I guess it just figures
Yeah. Well,
you can't run from you.
yeah, because he can't pick
hide.
up the Colossus with that. And there you go. GG SpeCial takes it 2-1 in our first match of WCS Winter Americas. I'm like I was ready to say WCS America. I gotta say
Oh,
winter
okay. I thought you
first. I
actually
gotta say
partially
winter.
burped a little.
No. I literally
You
got
forced that one out a little
I got
bit?
the first out of Americas, and then I had to cut myself off. What can I say?
Predictable results, but a tip of the hat to MCanning for taking the game. That timing attack, you heard me say it, and I'm not going to hide from it. I was like, I'd really not like it if he did that in Game 3, because I liked the Disruptor play against it. MCanning caught kind of overthinking it a little bit. The Colossus is different, and the logic there would be, I already did Disruptors, so I'm really worried about him adjusting to that. But at the end of the day, the two players had their ideas, and it was MCanning that blinked first, because SpeCial's just like, no, I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah, those pushes are really hard to deal with. Very strong attack from the Terran players. So SpeCial will move on to the winners match here, Group A for WCS Winter. As we move through our Americas stage, we have more matches coming up, though. Next is going to be some Zerg versus Zerg. I know it's all your favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have Tudming going up against Eric. I think that's going to be really interesting to see. Eric's a player we don't get to see on this stage.
No.
Tudming's someone we don't see as much. You know, Chinese scene's pretty competitive. There's been some newer players that have kind of been popping up around there. And I'm just interested to see what he brings to the table. Back in the day, the Chinese scene was all about very aggressive play, especially the Zergs. You'd have tons of like the Ling Roach builds and whatnot off 3 bases, a lot of brawler styles. But yeah, as far as SpeCial MCanning goes, good series, good show by MCanning there, but SpeCial shows why he's the favorite of this group. He kind of just executes the same way and improves on the mistakes that he made and makes adjustments where he feels necessary.
Yep, and he will be happy to face a team